book 22 of 2019 was On Rumours by Cass R. Sunstein. It's funny actually because I don't know if I should really go into much detail. Let's just keep it vague and say that I was in a situation where I had said something to quite a large group of people, and then I started to hear rumours flying around about something that I'd said, and the rumours that were flying around were completely fabricated, like literally not what I'd said. And I was like really kind of interested to figure out like how did that happen, because there was quite a lot of people that were agreeing on the rumour, like believing the rumour, and I was kind of thinking, I know what I said, and I know that I said it twice to two different groups of people, and yet people in both groups were saying something that wasn't true. And so I was like, how does that happen? And that's really, really worrying as well, that that does actually happen, because it's quite dangerous in certain situations to like have rumours about people in professional settings as well. So I teach psychology, and I was like, I want to figure out what this is about. And I happened to be in Waterstones, and I was like, oh, that's fortuitous, a book on rumours. So I thought I'd buy it. And it's quite small, so I was like, great, it's small, that's good. Until I got to the till and it was like £9. And I was like, £9 for this? Are you serious? It must be good. And I think that is where my expectation was. So I think it kind of starts off talking about how people spread rumours. Now, it's quite a natural thing in our culture to spread rumours. If you think about it, it's got kind of some evolutionary benefit to us to spread rumours, because if somebody spreads rumours about like some waterhole that's really good or that's really bad because there's loads of predators and they're going to kill us, like those kind of rumours can like determine survival back in the day. So it kind of, it makes sense that as we've kind of evolved, that we've listened to what others have said and decided on what they've said, whether to do a certain behaviour or not. And similarly, like, the kind of trading of information in an informal way gives you a lot of power in certain situations, particularly if you're the person trading that information. So, spreading rumours has a kind of benefit, and what it kind of goes into in this is that, yes, you do have people that will spread rumours to purposely change people's views, or to purposely kind of tarnish someone's reputation or make other people see them in a negative way or whatever. You always get those types of people, but that most people who spread rumours do it unintentionally. So for example, one person might hear something and falsely recall it to somebody else because they've forgotten, or maybe they are the person that's diminishing someone's reputation or whatever. Then somebody else might pass that information on, but have not fact checked the information from previous. So I remember when I was very, very young, somebody would tell me something and I would pass it on because it's just a conversation topic, isn't it? But I wouldn't actually check the facts of it, and it would come back around that actually what I'd passed on was wrong. So I always became quite aware of what I was hearing from other people and questioning it, checking it before I passed it on. And if anyone ever tells me something and I get like an iffy feeling of doubt, I'm like, I need to look into that because I don't fully trust that. And so I always check stuff. So I think I'm less likely to kind of spread rumours. And I always, there's someone at my work who literally spreads rumours all the time, and I don't even realise, I think that this person realises that they're doing it. Like, they just kind of say stuff and I'm like, where does that even come from? And I've actually called them out and said, oh, such body spreading rumours again, because it literally causes hysteria. Like, once one person hears something, it's like, oh, have you heard this, have you heard that, and it just spreads like wildfire. And it's like, calm down folks, like, did you even question where this information has come from? Whenever somebody kind of like makes a negative comment about someone, I'll always be like, well, who said that to you? And bear in mind that it's coming from their viewpoint, and that whilst they might believe that or have interpreted that situation in that way, that somebody else might have interpreted that differently in a different way. There's always two sides to everything. In fact, there's probably 20 sides to one thing, and you've got to kind of bear that in mind. So it's kind of like saying there's like information cascades, which is where one person says something and it passes on and it cascades, you know, so that everybody kind of hears it, so one person tells another one or whatever. So it talks about that for quite a while. And then it goes on to talk about like conformity. So there's a few studies in social psychology, Solomon Asch, and there's the Milgram experiment, which is technically obedience. There's a sheriff study as well about conformity. There's quite a lot of conformity studies actually, just basically saying that if you're in a group of people, you've got like a desire to be liked by them and want to belong to a group, and you've got a desire to be correct. So if somebody in a group says something and that makes you question what you know, you might just believe them and go along with them. And I've seen this sometimes, like, so you'll be in a group and you'll say something, and if people believe that you're intelligent, they'll just believe whatever you say. And you could say something like, oh yeah, that sounds right because that person said it, and it's like, are you sure? Like, just because they're intelligent in one thing doesn't mean they're intelligent in everything, that they actually know stuff. Like, I know I know this person who seemed to have a reputation for being intelligent, and used to just say a lot of stuff, and you could tell that this person had like was like saying stuff that they purposely remembered so that it would appear like they knew more than they actually did. And it's like, we were doing a pub quiz, and the question was something really basic, like how many types of elephant are there? There's African and Indian, do you know what I mean? They've got different sized ears. Like, I learned that when I was in like high school, and this person was like, oh, but what about this elephant? And was completely like making some random show up, and everyone was believing them, and I was sat there going, are you for real? Like, this is a basic thing, and you are believing this person because they spout that they spout knowledge but no wisdom. So you kind of always get those people. So people kind of look at others and go, okay, maybe they know more than me, so I'll just kind of go along with it because maybe they do. But like Ash has done studies where it's quite obvious what the right answer is. So actually it could also be the desire to be liked by the group. You don't want to be the odd one out, the one that's kind of challenging the status quo, because you get a lot of kind of like looks from people, and you get a lot of judgment from people, and I know that because I do say what I think. I don't really care if you like me or not. Like, if you don't like me, then we're not meant to be friends, see you later. There's plenty of other people that would like me, so I don't really care. So I'll just tell you it like it is. Like, I don't have any issue with that, and I think more people should really be like that. But then you kind of get the issues of that's foreign to human beings. Like, they judge that as being abrupt and being like kind of rude. Like, they think you're rude because you're honest. It's like, sorry, I don't wrap up the truth. Like, if you don't like it, that's your own problem. And then the book talks about kind of like group polarisation, which is where if you have, say for example, two groups that believe something opposing, so like political viewpoints or religion, or like whether you should have abortion or whatever, that if you present the opposite viewpoint to them, even if it's facts and figures, if it's like research or whatever, or it's just discussion, the groups will polarise. So even if you had quite a lot of them that were in the middle and weren't quite sure, at the end you'll polarise. And I don't know if you've ever kind of taken part in like debates and stuff. So in teaching I do this quite a lot, where we'll do a debate on is behaviour nature or nurture, or at least I used to do when I first started teaching, and I was a lot more kind of interactive and better with my teaching methods. And you always get at the beginning kind of people, either or whatever, and then the more that they kind of discuss it, at the end you get more of a kind of polarisation, more of a kind of judgment. Where have I made that up? Usually students aren't very good at debating, but so they usually just stick with their original point and kind of don't see the purpose of debating, which is why I probably don't use it anymore. But yeah, you usually find that when groups debate something, they are more kind of stuck in their viewpoint. And this happens to me at book club. So I kind of read a book recently, which I'm going to do a review on later, and when I actually read it I was like, oh, it was okay, like it weren't amazing. But then when I went to the book club and talked about it, I actually realised how much I disliked the book, and I wrote an absolutely scathing review of it, which I'm quite like, I don't really like writing kind of scathing reviews because it's a bit mean on the author, because they have actually had the balls to write a book. But then I think, well, you've just wasted my time because that was awful. So yeah, it polarised views, and that's kind of what this book is kind of suggesting. And so this is what happens, with Rumours. The people that believe the rumour, it doesn't matter what you say to them, if you defend yourself, they're going to more likely be stuck on that viewpoint and believe it, whereas the people that, you know, would have been convinced by your argument didn't believe it in the first place anyway. So what it's almost suggesting is that if there's a rumour about you, don't challenge it, don't kind of present the contrary view and say, oh, this is what it is or whatever, unless it's a factual kind of thing. But even with factual things, they still rejected it, so what's the point? And I actually, you know, wish I'd read this book before I did that, because what happened was I challenged it and I was like saying about I didn't say this or whatever, and it did actually make it worse. But then having said that, I think if you're in that situation where someone said a rumour about you, you need to challenge it to set the boundary. So I don't know if I completely agree with what's being said in that sense. So they call them self-defeating corrections. So trying to, you know, correct it is kind of self-defeating. And then it kind of talks about how, you know, what could we do to kind of stop rumours from spreading, given that everything we know about the fact that rumours can spread. So it talks a little bit about litigation and how you can have like a chilling effect on things. You can sue people for, you know, spreading false information, because there's false information everywhere. And what the author Sunstein is basically suggesting is that people just spread rumours without even realising what they're spreading. They spread false news without even realising it's false. You know, what could be done. So they're talking about like litigation and stuff, but then it kind of talks about, you know, like dystopian novels that kind of discover that, not discover, what's the word, I'm getting distracted because someone is talking in my hallway, so rude. So they're basically saying that if you kind of put a chilling effect on freedom of speech in controlling and stuff like that, it's not good for society. And actually, you know, I've kind of been aware of like different things in the media recently, which is you need free speech to be able to allow people to think about things, and by kind of putting a chilling effect on it, a damper on it, kind of making people stop spreading rumours, it's actually going to kind of restrict people's thinking, and you're going to end up with like a totalitarian kind of society, which is good for no one. So, you know, rumours are kind of there, you've just got to accept them and just kind of, you know, go along with whatever and maybe question what is actually around you, whether it's true or not. But doesn't really go into any detail. Like, it says how falsehoods are spread, okay, it does answer that question. Why we believe them, it does go into that question. And what can be done, well, it doesn't really answer that question. It kind of says, well, we can litigate, but then we'll have a chilling effect, and that won't be good for society. So it doesn't actually, you know, address that point. It's really, really small, so it doesn't really go into lots of detail. It's very kind of like surface. It touches on a lot of things, but doesn't really go into detail. Like, for example, the conformity experiments that are discussed, very, very brief. You know, could have been done, you know, a bit more critically. So it's not very well researched. It's kind of like, I guess it's like an introductory into rumours, and maybe you would go and research it further and find more information about it. So it's kind of an introductory rather than an intellectually stimulating book. So if you want a kind of just introduction to it, then, you know, you don't know anything about the social psychology experiments, maybe that'd be interesting to you. But again, it's really going into it that much, so you might be better looking at another book. So it says thought-provoking and extremely relevant. It wasn't thought-provoking really. It didn't really provoke much thoughts for me that I didn't already have. So it makes for some uncomfortable reading, not really. It gives long shrift to loose talk. I don't even know what that means. The Times Higher Education Supplement, very convoluted. So yeah, I think I wrote quite a bad review for it as well, again, so I wouldn't bother reading that, to be honest. Maybe wait for something that's a bit more in detail.